So who wants to talk about how our trip started off? This is Wednesday night. This is a Wednesday night, and we got our trip started last Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Saturday morning, we woke up there. What time was so our scheduled flight leaving Tampa to go to Fort Lauderdale, then from Fort Lauderdale to Montego Bay. So
Our original flight was scheduled for 9:30.
9:30. All right, so we got up at 6 something
6.
to have our 25-year-old, 26-year-old, whatever he is now, take us to the airport. And he's an airplane nerd, and so he whenever we travel, he'll tell us what type of plane we're going to be on, where it originated, where it's going, is it on time? He doesn't know who the pilots are, but it's really about
Practically.
it's almost that granular, the details
right.
that he gets into, and so we're up, we're getting ready, and he said, so I learned last night, but I didn't want to wake you up, that your flight's already been delayed from 9:30
in the morning
to 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, what the f***? So our connecting flight from Fort Lauderdale is at 1:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so clearly there's a disconnect here. And so, we're in two different households. We contact them and say, hey, do we want to drive to Fort Lauderdale? Because,
We were already on the road.
Yeah.
We were halfway to the airport.
Yeah, that's right,
already.
Yeah.
So we decided, no, we're going to make this the airline's problem, and we're going to go, and we're going to show up dutifully, and just go through their process, so we arrived at the Tampa International Airport, and sure enough,
that's where Crimson dropped me off at the boarding dock,
mm-hmm.
and then she just drove a few laps around the terminal, because the other thing was, the only place we'd actually heard this from yet was from your son.
Yeah, from my son.
We had
Yeah,
not
But we trust the fuck out of him because he knows
He
more than
knows,
anyone
yes.
else about the situation.
We had no email.
No nothing,
emails,
no
nothing.
text from the
Nothing.
airlines at all.
So
And to my knowledge, we still
she's,
haven't.
She's driving. I'm on the phone while we're approaching the airport. Can't get on the website. There's a 30-minute delay to talk to an agent. I'm like, this is not good. So she drops me off. I go running in, get in line at the gate, and actually begin to talk to someone. Sure enough, the flight has been pushed back to 5:30. No real explanation of why. The poor guy at the gate doesn't really know what's going on. He's just looking at his screen. But he asked if we had a connection, and I said yes. We're catching a flight to Jamaica, and he tried. He worked at it for like 10 minutes, and then he finally said, "I'm sorry. There's absolutely nothing I can do. You might want to try this airline and this airline and this airline. We don't have partnerships with them. I can't see their system. They may have a flight." So I'm texting all of this back and forth to these guys while they've all met in the cell phone parking lot now. So I'm running around the airport like crazy, and they're going through one of our favorite pre-flight rituals, which is shuffle everyone's shit around through the 8 suitcases until everyone is exactly at 49.5 pounds,
Right.
so that we can get through customs. So I'm running around I finally, after checking with 3 airlines, Southwest says, we have a flight. It leaves in 1 hour. The 3 of them are not even in the terminal yet. They're sitting in the cell phone parking lot. And but she said, there's 30 seats on it. It's no problem. If you just get here, we'll get you on the flight. So I tell them, new plan emerges. They're shoving all the luggage into one car. Their son's going to drop them off. The other car's already parked, and the luggage has been redistributed. So we're locked and loaded. And the next half hour-ish of our life was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It was a mad dash. Yeah.
I'm losing. Well, I had to park. I parked in the economy parking, so I had to meet you guys. So I'm running to get to you guys. And then you were off talking with one airlines, and we're trying to wait in line for another to buy our tickets.
Oh, that's right, because we had to make sure
that
because
we
it
weren't
was
gonna get
because it
canceled.
was an international itinerary. We were worried that if we just bailed out on the first leg, then when we got to the actual international part, they would say, "Oh,
didn't
you weren't
show,
on
you
your
didn't check
original
in." Right,
itinerary.
yeah,
You can't get
right.
on this plane." So we were really worried about that. So you're off talking with JetBlue. We're off talking with Southwest. We're getting 2 different stories.
Yeah.
What a shock!
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then finally, our new best friend in the world,
Susie. Susie at
from
Southwest.
Susie at
We
Southwest.
love you, Susie at Southwest. She's on our Instagram feed, hiding in the background. If you want to go look, she was amazing.
She was so calm.
She did. She kept us calm. She kept us cool. She's like, "You guys are doing great. It's all okay."
But we all stayed super calm. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic. And then so we're racing to get up to the gate. We've got boarding time. They're getting ready to start boarding. You have a half hour or so to board, and at Tampa Airport. It's a crapshoot as to which line ever moves faster. So I picked the line. It was not the fastest moving line. Actually, I think they were both going pretty slow. But we're going through the one that's the machine where you don't have to take off as many clothes, and I thought that would be better. And you just put your crap through the machine, and it x-rays it, and you go. So everybody's bags all come out, and my bag gets pushed aside. And I'm like, really? Like, my bag I never get pushed aside. So I'm like, fine, whatever. But there's a line of bags that are waiting to be checked. There's no bag checker anywhere. There's probably bag number 6 in the line, and all of a sudden we hear them saying, "We're starting to board the flight to Fort Lauderdale." And I'm like, oh shit.
I run to the gate.
Yeah.
And I tell them our sad story. And I'm like, she's just over there. Please wait for us.
So they finally start checking my bag, and sure enough, in my makeup bag, which I never carry in my carry-on, but we were worried if our bags got separated that we wouldn't have all of our stuff, so I had like a couple change of clothes in a carry-on. So I threw my makeup in there, and in my makeup bag there was a tiny little pocket knife, which I wasn't trying to obviously do anything, but what are the odds that would happen? So sure enough, they found that finally. The guy's neatly, nicely packing the stuff back in my suitcase, and Phoenix is just like, "Throw it in there, we gotta go." And so,
The gate had already told us 90 seconds, and we're
and
shutting
they
the
were
door.
counting down, and I'm like
I
trying
see
to
her.
run.
She's done.
Trying to run across, and I don't even have my shoes on, and I'm trying to run and put my shoes on. I'm like, I just had to stop and put my shoes on. I know, I'm sorry, but I just did. But they could see me. So we finally make it on the plane, and of course there's not any two seats together.
We're all
but
over
it was
the
like
place.
it's like a 20-minute flight from Tampa to Fort Lauderdale. So it was
38 minutes.
Oh, that's right, 38 minutes.
yeah.
38
38 horrible
minute
minutes.
flight.
The most expensive flight ever.
Yes.
God.
And we just said we just
Oh,
will
what
buy
a-
it. We
No,
don't
we
care.
don't want to miss a day.
We didn't want to miss a day in Jamaica.
Hito, and
Speaking
we
of
wanna
which,
go.
we need to start to do something about
I know.
that.
I've already started.
I thought of that last night,
I
too.
haven't thought of it at all.
We never officially
No.
took care of anything.
There was
We just
never-
ran to another plane and
There was never
kept
an
going.
email. There was never email.
really?
There was never
Nothing.
anything.
We just got
So-
to Jamaica and said we took off our clothes and said that was it.
That was it.
So, anyways, the bottom line is we made it to Jamaica. We had actually a very nice flight from Fort Lauderdale to JetBlue, and then when we got here,
Yeah.
is that what you wanted me to
Club
say?
Mobay?
Yes.
Worth every penny.
So
God.
we had been told that you can go on this thing called Club Mobay. And that it's like $40 a person for arriving. And it's like $80 if you do it on the way in and out of Montego Bay. I couldn't remember the airport. Of Montego Bay Airport. And so somebody told us to do that, and they said it's worth the money. What happens is that they will meet you and they will help expedite you through customs. And we're like, you know what, that sounds really great. And then you get to sit in their little lounge while you're waiting for your bus, and they have drinks and food. And I'm like, you know what, that sounds great. Yeah. So we said, okay, we'll treat ourselves to that. Well, let me tell you what expediting against customs means. It means you walk through the Disney World of people standing in line all through the entire airport, and you just walk right by all of them. She walks you right up to a machine. You do your thing. Bada bing. We were probably less than 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, picking up on the Disney net. We fast passed our way into Jamaica.
But it was
awesome.
hot fast. It was the fastest fast pass on the planet ever.
We came down the escalator. She had a sign with all 4 of our names on it.
Yep.
And she strode up, opened up a rope. We went in.
Yeah, it was really
After
cool.
the morning that we had, it was just like
it was
we were so pleased.
refreshing.
It was
Yes.
so appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
We were so thankful. So that was awesome. So if you ever come to Hito, Club Mobay. We've heard, and we did hear also that some of the people that were coming on our trip couldn't get it because they sell out. They only sell so many spaces for their lounge, basically, that they can handle as the planes come in. So they know the schedules and they know what they can take. So there's only so many seats. And we got it. So we're doing it on the way out, too. So we'll report back on how that is.
And I think it's also worth mentioning that aside from fast tracking us through customs, it was our first introduction to the incredible hospitality of
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
All of the people who are doing everything in the world to make our vacation amazing here
Yeah.
are just as
Super
nice,
super nice
and
people.
relaxed as they can possibly be.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that is so cool.
Yeah.